Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's edition of Press Hour. The first ordinary session, the March Bureau elective sitting of the 2025 parliamentary year ends this week. Yes, we are told that their mandatory role is to vote laws and control government action. We also learn that controlling government action refers to the mechanisms and processes that ensure government actions align with established laws, policies, and public expectations, that is, holding government accountable. The control mechanisms are checks and balances, judicial overview, transparency, independent oversight bodies, and citizen participation. Take these mechanisms as a scale and place our parliament on it. The weight will be obvious, as parliament is called upon to hold government accountable for its actions. Members of parliament, especially of the National Assembly, are supposed to be answerable to the citizens who directly vote them into office. If you assess the contribution of your parliamentarian in your community development, will you give them a pass mark? It is the same question we are asking about the mayors. If the answer is whistling in the air, then the time of reckoning is in. The constitutionally postponed municipal and legislative elections to take place in April 2026. Before that time, on Press Hour today, our focus is on how are members of parliament and mayors impacting development in their constituencies. This is Press Hour, and I am Kilian Ndandifoni Yaounde. Ladies and gentlemen, you welcome back. How are members of parliament and mayors impacting development in their constituencies? That will be our focus on Press Hour today, and we have the following as panelists on today's edition of the program. We have Richard Lajong, who is a publisher of the Herald Tribune. Richard, you're welcome.
It's my pleasure, Kilian, to be back on set after a while, and I think that today's edition of the program is going to be a special one, especially when we have some strong minds who are conversant with issues of development. And I'm talking of my brother over there, who is of the Northwest Regional Council, Mr. Awunti, whom I'm meeting for the first time. And I want to say that he's been doing quite much. I mean, because most often I see his name appear on news stories in my newspaper that is among the populace, and I'm going through and I see his name and I say,
today,
thank God,
has
he's doing well.
To you. Thank you very much, Richard, for coming, and I'm going to move to the extreme right of the set to introduce Do Bertrand, another colleague, a journalist, who is the managing editor of the Guardian Post newspaper. Bertrand, once again, welcome.
Thank you very much, Kilian. Happy Sunday to Cameroonians out there. Thank you for bringing me back on set.
You're most welcome, and I want this time to introduce Chief Nasako Daniel Molondo. He is a traditional ruler, but ladies and gentlemen, also know that he is a researcher in decentralization and development. Welcome to Press Hour, Chief.
Thank you, Kilian. I think, even I'm not mistaken, this will be the third time you're inviting me in this program to talk about a decentralization process in Cameroon. And it's just coming to at a time where I'm conducting my research on my PhD research on decentralization. So actually, it's a good topic for me because I'm evaluating decentralization and governance process in Cameroon 5 years after the major national dialogue. And I've gone quite some ministries like Mindevel, I've been there, public service, I've gone to some institutions, and presently I'm to go to ENAM to see how they are managing the governance system in that prestigious institution of Cameroon.
Our viewers now know why repeatedly I bring you here. And again, as a traditional ruler by your right, you see how you are totally involved in this. Now, please, you let me also introduce the other panelists whom Richard made mention of. Mr. Rejung Awunti, he is the Commissioner for Economic Development in the Northwest Regional Assembly. You're welcome to this program. You have met Richard. Richard should be meeting you for the first time. You are meeting him for the first time, and I know so many of our viewers are also meeting you for the first time. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate being on this panel to talk about development as regards our local region. I would like to just highlight here that I'm neither a mayor nor a parliamentarian, but when it comes to development efforts, there are things which we can share on this forum that would help to move the ball forward.
Yes, sir, and that's why we have invited you as a Commissioner for Economic Development in the Northwest Regional Assembly. We look forward to having so much from the regional assemblies that we have, which is part of the special status. The others have regional councils. We have a regional assembly that resemble that what we used to have in those days in the English-speaking extraction of this country. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, Yoti Kaleli Songe is going to read the newspapers for us. It is all about the press. Press R. Yoti.
The print media's treatment of some of the week's news stories gave the readership the impression of watching a Sunday debate program, particularly those relating to politics. President Biya's move to appoint new members of the CPDM Central Committee is seen as him being the sole commander-in-chief of the New Deal regime on the median, a decision the Sun hails, which Cameroon Tribune treats on a similar note. The appointments, however, trigger verdicts on opinion slots of newspapers such as the Guardian Post that opts for phrases like "when CPDM dog bites master." The paper further enlightens readers by suggesting, as per the Yoruba orthodoxy, that only a good friend tells you your mouth smells. According to The Voice, it is simply a mastery of the art of legalism. While Lifetime, The Eagle's Eye, and Tribune Jumbam are busy channeling the requests of CPDM sympathizers, other print media organs to include Newswatch, The Pilot, The Voice, The Median, and The Guardian Post highlight the Bishop's pastoral letter ahead of the 2025 presidential election, streamlining questions about President Biya's suitability as well as the qualities of a good presidential candidate. To The Pilot, the Bishop's 10-point blueprint disqualifies the head of state. Reporting on the same topic, The Horizon projects the bishops encouraging Cameroonians to participate in the 2025 presidential and regional elections with a call for them to demand concrete actions from candidates. Cameroon Insider, in its analysis, urges the population to heed to the bishop's call. Meanwhile, The Guardian Post, in an editorial, tries to sell the notion of God speaking to Cameroonians through bishops. Breaking News is, on its part, more concerned about finding the opposition's path to victory. As they dig deeper to uncover their strategies, the Bank of Central African States, BEAC, unveils new coins as seen on The Guardian Post, The Post, and Cameroon Tribune. Cameroon Insider is eager to announce that new coins have been put into the CEMAC economy, emphasizing the central bank's intention to put 500 million worth of coins yearly for the next 5 years. The Post adds that the coins also have enhanced security, with the intention being to stem shortage within the sub-region. Another sector also boosted, as recounted on the National Post, is students' business nurseries. Likewise, cocoa farming, which Cameroon echoes, resounds is luring more youths. This week as well, at least 12 Cameroonian Boko Haram soldiers were killed in an attack in Mora, Lake Chad Basin, where Cameroon Tribune indicates the fight against terrorism remains a constant battle, just like the proper management of garbage disposal in the country. which various newspapers highlight. Volcanic Times, The Dawn and the Herald Tribune equally kept the readership informed of happenings within and out of the country. Municipal Updates, for its part, was keen on the efforts to combat counterfeit with regard to production of jerseys within the Sports Federation, leading the Customs Department and Fecafoot to sign a deal.
Thank you so much, Yoti Kalele Songe, for reading the newspapers for us on Press R. Just wish to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that our topic is how are MPs, members of parliament, and mayors impacting development in their constituencies. That is what Press R is all about today. And I will get to Mr. Awunti, who knows so much about. Let certain things be clarified. We knew some time ago that members of parliament, especially members of the National Assembly, when the National Assembly had micro grants, parliamentary micro grants of was 5 million that went up to 8 million CFA francs yearly, and they were carrying out some developmental projects in their constituencies. It looks like it's no longer the case. We want you to give us the situation as of now, what they have statutorily from Parliament to do development, and what became of the micro project grants from Parliament before we go into how they are impacting their communities in development.
Thank you. We know that for the last few years, the micro grants that were being given to parliamentarians were stopped. They're now being handed at level of the councils. We know that as part of decentralization, the councils are responsible for development in their communities, in the territories that they cover. I think this is appropriate because the responsibilities given on to parliamentarians is national. They should do advocacy, but I think at the local level, between the village community development groups, the councils, that's where the local development efforts should be. So any citizen who is interested in working with their community should definitely work with the mayors. That is what is enshrined in the law. Work with the councils in order to effect this change at the local level. This is really important when you think of integrated planning, where if each person is carrying out a project, there may be overlaps. In order to use our limited resources efficiently, it is important that we work with the councils so that if one person is working, say, for water, the water catchment, the next project should be invested in something else, not that you have continuous effort in the same place or in the same type projects.
Yes, thank you so much for the clarification. It's not ended yet. I'm going to go to Do Bertrand. But before I go to Do Bertrand, there are so many people who are holding members of parliament to task, saying that when they say that they make laws at national level, as you have said, they control government action. In our intro here, we said control of government action has to do with checks and balances, making sure that everything that is programmed is done and done the right way. It has to do with judicial review to make sure that these powers are separated, where the executive is different from the judiciary and also from parliament itself. The critics say that there is very little in terms of these separations of power in our country. They also have to ensure that there is transparency in projects you are talking about, in so many other things. We know about the parliamentary inquiry group. We don't know what they are doing, to say that parliamentarians still have so much, and also citizen participation. They should ensure that citizens participate in what is going to their. That is just to say that you have stated what parliamentarians are supposed to do, but we are saying that they also have to do this to make sure that these things are done the right way. Though, Bertrand, you accept that they are doing this job?
Yeah. Our members of parliament are trying their best to vote good laws, good in quote, because it's not all the laws that are favorable. Because when you look at even our finance law that is passed every year, the bill that is voted before the head of state enacts it into law, it always has elements that weakens the purchasing power of citizens and on issues related to our tax system. So I would say the laws that they vote are good, but the good there is in quote. And then they are trying their best to control government action. We've seen some members of parliament, some who are really asking critical questions to members of parliament. Some really take the pain to read through bills when they are tabled during plenary, and we see them in some cases they make inputs that cause bills to be be reviewed before it is sent to the upper house of assembly. But I would say that to a greater extent our MPs are not doing as much as we would have expected of them, because I would say that the regime in place, as you know, made things a little bit difficult for them. They are members of parliament. They are coming to parliament. There is so much that the electors want from them. Like you just mentioned, I think about 2 years back, there was suppression of micro grants that was given to MPs every year, 8 million francs, which means in a mandate they have 40 million francs. They used to use this money to, carry out little projects that give hope to the electors that they are in parliament and they're doing something. Like our senior from the Norway Regional Assembly said, now these powers have been removed from them and given to, it has been diverted to councils, because government is in the process of fast-tracking the decentralization process. But I would say that it has been suppressed officially, but the MPs are still put at the beggarly end, because, believe you me, after talking with about 3 MPs today, I've been made to understand that microgrants have been suppressed, but MPs still have a window through which they can write to members of government to ask for, you present projects for your community and you ask for support to go and execute these projects. You can write to MINEPAT, which is the economy ministry. You can write to the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Public Health is helping them too to give health equipment, and then even basic education, agriculture is coming in. So I would say that when MPs are left at the beggarly end of writing to members of government to ask for projects at all the time, these same MPs will not have what it takes to hold these people to account when they come during plenary for question and answer sessions. This is where I'm coming from. If you want to permit, I will develop my points further.
Go, yes.
Yes, because
you
when
want it now, we'll come back to you.
If you give me the time, I can go ahead.
Yes, you have 2 more minutes.
Yes, I'm saying so because we have had question and answer sessions where MPs fail to ask the right questions to members of parliament, and this is even why some members of parliament come during sessions. MPs, they come to Yaoundé during sessions, and they loiter in Yaoundé without going for sessions. In 2023, the National Assembly Speaker lashed out on members of parliament for boycotting sessions when critical bills are being debated. When you come to Yaoundé to vote laws, that is why we rarely see our members of parliament going back to their constituencies after sessions to brief the constituents on what transpired in session, what activities that they carried out, and then to explain to them the laws that were voted and how it impacts them.
And that because exactly is part of their mission.
That is part of their mission, but yes, we are saying that they are not playing this role. When you boycott sessions and you engage yourself in business deals in town, when you come for sessions, you cannot ask questions to members of government. When you come for session and you are not active, we've had situations where you pose questions to members of parliament about bills that were voted by them and they are unable to answer critical questions to you. How then do you expect them to be able to control government action? That is why the government in place continues to delay issues related to the finance bill. The law says that you have to table the finance bill 15 days before session. And because government believes that these people, they will just clap through the bill as usual, government continues to table this bill during session 15 days even after session has started. And you cannot read through this voluminous document during session to be able to make inputs. That is why we have tax laws, tax bills, issues related to tax system that is not convenient and good for the citizens, that is clapped through by the members of parliament.
Yes, that the bills always come late while they are in session. Yes,
and if they were good enough, they would have heard the government bench to account to stop tabling this, because this is something that's been repeating and repeating.
Agreed, that is their role. That government always brings it while they are in session. is a fact. But that government does that intentionally.
It's an intentional act.
No,
because
please.
the head of
Look
state
at
tables,
it. Look at it.
Bertrand, let me say it. The head of state gives an orientation on the finance bill.
I will give you another 1 minute. I will give him another 1 minute. This is what you said, that the bills come in late per the law is a fact. But that it is intentional, it's your interpretation. If you don't accept this,
because
then,
it is repeated.
Well, repeated,
and
it is your...
repeated means
okay.
It is meant.
Now, Richard, I will come back to you. Mr. Awunti. Richard, there was a time, I don't know whether it was the Herald Tribune or was one other newspaper that we all read some time ago, before you give your contribution to this. In that newspaper, whether it was yours, the Herald Tribune, or another one, said, for a whole mandate, there are some parliamentarians, members of government, members of parliament, who come and they don't say a word in parliament as participation. Not at all, not to the press, not to parliament, no participation.
Yeah, true, Kilian. I think it ties with what my colleague Bertrand has been saying about parliamentarians who come to Yaoundé. They spend their time rushing behind ministers, begging for projects, as business people, but not as they want to actually develop their constituencies. And it's the same thing that some of them get into parliament, they sit there, they spend their time either WhatsApping, reading newspapers and sleeping, and when they hear people clapping, they too jump and clap. But you ask them, what is it, what happened? They will not be able to tell you. That's why many of them, some of them, cannot go back to their constituency, like Bertrand said, to brief those who elected them of what has been going, the debates that has gone through in Parliament. What have they done as bringing development back in their constituencies? I think it's a pity, Kilian, that we have the type of parliamentarians we have now. They are there, for their own self-aggrandizement. They don't look at their constituencies because...
Did you say some of them? Because I know so many who do that.
I said some of them. I know there are some who actually carry out development in their constituency, not from the micro grants like Mr. Awuni said that they no longer have, but they go and lobby through friends, through organizations to bring development back in their areas. And some of them who are business people, who are contractors, they spend their time looking for contracts for which road project to execute. And once the money is given, they disappear. The rehabilitation is not even done.
And you can only say that if you have examples. We will come to a point.
Yes, the examples are abound, Kilian. The examples are abound.
We will come to a point in this program where we may need examples. But to make that statement, you need to say that this stretch of road. We will come to that, please. Just hold on. Just hold on. We're going to ask where there are obstacles to development. At this time, Chief Molondo is your Royal Majesty Nasako Daniel Molondo. In your own constituency, you are a traditional ruler by your right. You also are a researcher in decentralization and development, which means that you have a good knowledge. You're doing a PhD in what's happening. The issues at stake.
Yeah, the issues are...
parliamentarians and then
their colleagues of the mayor. What we should first of all know is that just have it in mind that you cannot do what you don't know. And you can't say what you don't know. It's just a pity that the system, because of politics, everybody can go in as a mayor or as a parliamentarian without any going through. And I want to say that maybe in the parliament is a suggestion. Not everybody should be accepted as a parliamentarian. I think I have to suggest that the parliament should have an ethics committee. The Senate should also have an ethics committee so that when these people come to parliament, they study them. You see? So A professor told me during my master's program in local government administration, maybe a PhD program, if not Professor Emmanuel Pundi, should be an American professor who was hired from St. Monica University, was teaching us local government. He told us that for any government that want to satisfy the aspiration of its citizens, that government must operate on 3 key pillars: competence, honesty, and good democratic principle. Where somebody is appointed or elected who is not competent, believe me, is bound to fail. Honesty, when you elect somebody who is not honest, if you appoint somebody who is not honest, it's going to fail. The institution is going to fail the institution. Good democratic principle. When you elect somebody, when a committee elects somebody who is not competent, but is elected based on the party line, and some of the people who are put there, the party has decided that is this person, believe me, that person is not going to function well. So the problem with our country, which I think that from the research that we are conducting, the government should come up with a mechanism. Before you are elected as a parliamentarian, you should be studied. You should know, they should know the level where you are. Before you are elected as a mayor, they should know your level where you are. In this case, I am saying that if 2 candidates are vying for the post of either a mayor or a parliamentarian, the supervisory authority in charge of validating documents should look at their CVs, because the committees are tired to send to elect people who are contractors, mechanics, or type of smarter business people, because they have used their small money to influence people, and then they send them that, and then when they start filling the committee, they start put the blame on the government. The committee start putting the blames of the government. The government is not the fault of everything. The government is not the fault of it. If our parliamentarians are not doing good work in the field, the blame should not go to the government. It is us who elect them. We should know who we are sending to parliament and who we are sending as a mayor.
No comment yet.
Can I quickly say,
the government. The 3 other panelists are going to talk about this point, because I myself, I find it very interesting. Yes, conclude, please.
Because when we look at it, the government cannot stop somebody. It's politics cannot stop somebody from going to politics. We are all Cameroonians. But the person who is going, the person who the population is sending forward to represent, have they evaluated him? The person who is going as a mayor, have they evaluated him? It is not the blame of the government. It is open. So it is the rule. I'm just like trying to say that to avoid all this blame going to the government, late bills, and whatsoever like that. If you go to parliament and you cannot contribute, it's not the fault of the government. You have been endorsed to be a parliamentarian to represent the people. If you don't know what to say in the parliament, you are bound to sleep. You are bound to be quiet.
The blame still goes to the government, Killer. Yes,
Yeah,
because we have a constitution, Killer.
Let Mr. Awunti speak. Bertrand, you can be sure. You and Richard are going to also to comment on this. This is a very important point. And I worked also in the Far North for quite some time, and during the public investment budget assessment meetings, it was noticed that councils and some other bodies were doing so much, but because the heads of those councils did not know so much, they didn't bring the information from the field to the finance controllers to forward to the ministry. So what he is saying is very important. The problem of quality, qualification is, yes, you have something to say about that.
I think I have 2 things. The first one, I needed to separate what my neighbor to the right, Mr. Doe, was saying regarding microgrants and parliamentarians. I'm hoping that this program is not Beat the Parliamentarian Day, because they're taking a beating so far. The microgrants, which was money doled out without any specific objective, were suppressed. So people write projects, and now you have very focused activities you are going to execute with your projects. I think that's a difference. It does not make the MP a beggar. It makes the MP more responsible. Any other citizen that needs a project actually writes and submits to the appropriate authorities. Now, what the chief has said regarding the institutions, I have to weigh in, because the institution to which someone is voted to, they have records. Who came, who did not come. I think once somebody is voted, based on their integrity, they know they need to execute the job. You cannot be in Yaoundé and not go for parliamentary session, and you expect the voters back home to actually know what was happening. So I think we need to put the onus on ourselves, elected officials. What are we doing? Are we carrying on the mandate as expected? Now, when it comes to savviness vis-a-vis the laws, vis-a-vis the responsibilities to be carried on in office, there are certain texts that prescribe the responsibilities of each elected official. And we see within the MP class, I can quote my Honorable Ago Oliver, who has been carrying out a lot of activities at the local level, even at the national level. He understands what it means to advocate, and we are seeing that on the field.
And there is no session we do not see Honorable Ago Oliver asking questions that are incisive. Another one is Honorable Njume Peter, and a good number of them.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think what we can advocate is that people look at this and follow their lead. Now, regarding the other insinuation that people go to sleep during sessions, I think there is a whip during the sessions that is supposed to keep people awake. The agenda for the sessions by law, as quoted by my colleague Mr. Doe here, was 15 days before session, everything should have been made public to the participants during the invitation, and people should study. And based on the area that you represent, not everything on the agenda interests everybody. If you represent a particular constituency and there are issues that affect you, obviously you make sure you're there. There may be issues that are national, they don't particularly touch your constituency, or other areas of interest. You may not pay the same attention, or you may not have the same mastery of the facts. Nevertheless, once we take office, you have to know what has been voted on and explain it to your constituencies after each session. That is the responsibility of every elected official. So I would like to put that really clearly so that we don't take a beating for all our elected officials, because some are really doing the job.
Well, if the beating is constructive, we permit that on Press R. Then I push that on Mr. Awunti. We have parliamentarians, we have mayors who have no acceptable level of education. That is a fact. We can name them. How do you well, people will say they have councillors, they have people surrounding them who can read those voluminous hard law kind of text and tell them. Will you squeeze that in water and give to someone who never went to school? Laws that are at national level. That's why he raised that as a suggestion, that before a mayor is voted, before a member of parliament who is going to vote the laws, scrutinize and vote the laws of the state, they should have a certain level, at least limit an education that gives. He talked about competence, he talks about honesty, he talks about following. That is the point that he made, and we said we're going to take some 5 minutes to talk about it, which is very crucial.
I agree. I think that he made a very crucial point. But we also have to be very careful, because in elected politics, you want every member of society to have a representative at the table. Now, when we look at our communities, what is the level of literacy? what is the level of literacy that we have now. If you just take only those with advanced education, it means there is a section of the population whose needs will not be presented because they don't have that opening. So when you look at the regional assembly, for example, we have the social makeup of the Northwest is represented in there because each one of those communities has a voice, not just those who are educated and in urban areas.
At their level, the voice at their level, not at parliamentary level. That's what we are talking about.
At the parliamentary level, I think it's the same thing because in terms of advocacy, you cannot advocate effectively if you have not lived through it.
Thank you.
Now, when it comes to reading the text of the laws, I do agree that you have to be educated because it's slightly complicated. The implementation is even more complicated. But when it comes to advocacy for your population, we need folks who have lived through and understand what it means to go to Idiabato, to what it means to go to Furawa when they're asking for that road. Otherwise, if we all live in Yaoundé, well, it's not the same.
Okay,
thank you.
We got your point. Thank you so much. Yes, on that point.
Yes,
and then I promise to give you the microphone on that point too,
yes.
Richard.
Okay. Killian, I will totally disagree with our representative of the Regional Assembly. I think MPs are representing. I mean, representative of Regional Assembly.
No. So you said totally disappointed. You mean that
disagree with his point?
Okay.
Because an elected official is representing people in the constituency. If it is at the level of a council, you are representing a municipality. And in the decentralization text, there is what you call budgetary orientation debates. This is the issue. I think I put the blame first on government, which you say we should not blame, because if we have a constitution that defines who is qualified to be an MP, if you don't meet that barrier, you will not even vie for the position. The second blame is going to the parties that invest these candidates, these MPs. If our party, the various political parties can invest those who are knowledgeable, those who can vote laws, those who can scrutinize, and we can carry anybody to parliament to represent us because, first of all, the business of scrutinizing bills from government is not effective. Now, with these two, so with this, I'm calling for an overhaul of the system. We need to review our text to put kind of, there should be some criteria for who becomes an MP, Killian Emilan, and who becomes even a mayor. These are people who now represent the voice of the community. At the level of the council, you have councillors who are coming from different villages. They bring, during budgetary orientation debates, they come with the needs of these communities. The entire village cannot be there. These councillors bring the needs of the communities and they table it, and every MP is supposed to even be part of council sessions because you are representing these people up here. Right. But we have situations where MPs are not even in good collaboration with mayors. They are MPs, because you bear with me that MPs are heads of divisional follow-up committees for the execution of public investment projects. And we have this committee that visas projects as being executed when the projects are not up to 50%. So I am saying that there should be collaboration between MPs and the council, because we have councillors who represent all the villages. And if the councillors bring the projects and the needs of the communities and hand out to the executive, the head of these institutions, who are well knowledgeable, they will be able to represent us nationally. We cannot take people who cannot ask questions, who cannot even speak on issues that have been tabled in front of them and sent to parliament, because we want every strata of the society to be represented.
Thank you.
We have to streamline this.
Yes, Richard, on that point, because I find this discussion very interesting and we cannot deprive you of your opinion.
Yes, Killian. You know, the first thing is I think government takes a greater part of the blames. If the mayors are not doing well, the parliamentarians are not doing well, it's government responsibility. Why do I say so? And even the political parties that invest, like Bertrand has said, you know, I know in the Social Democratic Front, where they used to organize primaries to get councillors. They'll come to a quarter to get a councillor that will represent that quarter. They go through primaries. Same thing too for the mayors, for the MPs, and at whatever level. And things worked out very well. But today, with the present dispensation, what do we have? We have people in parliament who were simply errand boys for some members of government who were, you know, and in order to compensate them, you just take them and put in parliament, they take them and put as mayor. And what are we seeing? Pure disaster. The first thing some of them have done within the first years of their mandate, Killian, is to raise skyscrapers, duplex, all over. I don't want to call names, but I know.
Not names now.
Yes.
We're going to very soon. In 3 minutes, we're going to move to the next question that probably will take us to the end of the program about how they can impact their communities. But this point that you are making about the blame on government. Let us take even the mayorship. For you to become mayor, you have to be on a list of councillors, and there are usually different lists. One list will win. Government doesn't constitute lists for the council. They are the people of the locality.
The parties constitute lists.
Well, the party...
And this is what we saw within the CDM party discipline, where if the community wants somebody and the party is protecting another person...
When you were speaking, I did not interrupt you.
Majority of grand councillors in Yaoundé were not for the current city mayor. But the party discipline came to play and it was imposed. And we're seeing but this applies nationwide.
When you were talking, I let you speak. I could interrupt, Richard. When you were also talking, I let you. I'm even the one to interrupt.
This is the point. This is the point. If we don't say them, they will not understand.
Probably you feel guilty in the point I'm making. That's why you are trying to interrupt me. In the council, it is a list system that, you know, a mayor comes from a list of councillors. Which means that is a list. That list is constituted maybe with the influence of some people up there.
In the community.
Yes, maybe, but it is the stakeholders in that community. It is their community problem.
With the visa
it is the same thing. It is the same thing with the parliament. Whether it is the upper house, that's the Senate, or the lower house, that's the National Assembly. It is a list system. And the list of those people come from the people of the constituency of the locality. So if government has any blame, the blame is secondary. The first, like Chief Molondo said, the first blame is with the people. You cannot shift it to government. Yes, the government has its own share.
Killian, have we not seen situations where the people have actually designated that this is our candidate and the political party says no?
Now, let me take you on your words. Let me take you on your words. You have said, have we not seen situations? Yes, we have seen. But those are situations. It means that it is an exception. We're talking about the general rule. Now, we're going to move.
Can I say something about that?
Briefly, Chief. Okay. We'll move to the next thing.
Yeah, I really see that this particular point is not making some sense.
Are you coming back to it?
So I would just like to say what
Bertrand
say and even
Mr. Unti.
Yeah, I don't blame them much, and I'm still saying that the government is not to blame, even if there are some small fault. What is democracy? Government of the people, by the people, for the people. So the government gives opportunity for the people to come and become what they want to be in the system. But the problem now is when they come to the field, it is not the government to meet the people in Baromimbo, the people in Kake or Kaketu or
that the lookers.
This person it is us, the grassroots, who should know that this man can talk, can represent us in the parliament. This man can be our mayor. When I was a member of the Major National Dialogue, Commission number 8, understand? The president was Mr. Philip Ngwesen. I raised a point, I think that point was number 3, that before you become a mayor, you must at least have a degree. And not a type of degree, not in literature, not what type of degree, at least which is related to your field. First of all, ask yourself, mayor, what is my responsibility? What is my work? What is my role? Before you go in for a mayor position, first of all, examine yourself, what is the role of a mayor? what am I going to do?
Then
you examine yourself.
We agree.
Okay, then,
we are not going to go back.
Then, when I put down the second question, the president of our committee number 8 on decentralization, we were talking today, Mr. Angwese said, Prince, that's a very good suggestion, yes. A very good point, because I cannot be a minister in a constituency, then my mayor has first school. That cannot go, you know. And then one of our brothers said, because of poverty, we don't want to leave out some people, so that's why we just said. Mr. Fidingwese said, no, I can't be a minister. Then my mayor is a vast level holder. That it cannot go. What will it take for me?
Your suggestion, Chief. Your suggestion is
so
taken.
I am still suggesting in this particular point that
the
government, as some people are blaming the government should sit down and try that with research that we are conducting, because some governments don't want researchers because they feel that researchers are imposing things. But the work of a researcher is to make
propose,
the government propose something for government to make correction. So I am like suggesting here that whether the next mandate is coming, even if it's an appointment, the president should look at the files of the people he's appointing as a senator. The SGO should look at the files of the 2 or 3 people who have vied for the post of a mayor. He reads the file to the people, to the councillors, and ask them to choose. If the people go and choose the one who has first school living certificate, it's a problem. It's not a problem.
Your point is taken. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is the question that we're going to answer now. We have just about 13 minutes to go to the end of this program. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Press R, and we are broadcasting live from Studio 4 of CRTV Yaoundé. Richard, what we have to talk about now is how can MPs, members of parliament, and mayors impact development? We want palpable points. First of all, we have seen that the members of parliament do not have direct grants again, but they have indirect grants that they can use to impact development. How should they do that? Now, let us even see first, are there some areas where the mayors and MPs have failed, which we can cite? Richard, you wanted to give an example. Without calling names, we just need examples.
Yeah, the first thing, I want to appreciate the mayor of Tuba, because he's really impacting his municipality. He's bringing a lot of development in his municipality. He travels out of the country and brings those developments. I saw a video of him, I think, trying to inspect an industrial machine that can transform cassava. And if he brings that back to his municipality, it is going to impact, help a lot of farmers to grow cassava. And then we have also parliamentarians. Fortunately, they all come from the same subdivision. The parliamentarian of Bafutuba, he too has been doing well. Honorable Awo, he's doing so well in his community. He does not depend from what is coming from parliamentary grants, from what is coming from government. He goes out, all out. Recently, he gathered his friends, they donated to the district hospital in Tuba. They were done by his friends. He has been doing that. He goes round. I think that is what others should emulate. And then talking about MPs. I know of MPs, some MPs who have deliberately not to see development within their constituency since they were elected or since they were appointed and sent to parliament.
No, that is that is an umbrella statement. Can you quote the area so we know? Because when you say that, don't call any name.
No, I'm not going to call names.
Okay, no, then that statement does not hold.
In that case, that statement doesn't hold.
No, the area.
I think we know. Okay, in my constituency, where I come from, if you ask the people there, how many times have they seen their parliamentarian it will be a surprise to them. They don't even know if they have a parliamentarian or not. And
your constituency without calling the name of the parliamentarian.
I've seen him on this program come to say that he's been carrying out development back in his constituency. But I think where I come from,
you are in Yaoundé. How do you expect to see him when you are not in Yaoundé?
I'm in Bamenda.
You are in Yaoundé. You are based in Yaoundé.
But I think
you are based in
Yaoundé.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I just want to say that all these things depend on faith, good faith. If you are a good citizen, patriotism, you develop your constituency. If the parliamentarian senators or the mayors from Dian are developing Dian, it is not because they have a prime minister present whom they are afraid. No, because they have the love for their municipality. They have the love for their people. Because nobody can develop their place
more than you.
It is only you. That's why they are doing it. If Dian is doing it, Kupe Manungba is doing it. Libya Lem, whom I know very well that they are.
What are they doing?
They don't take nonsense.
Tell us what they are doing.
Why should Meme not do it?
Tell us, no, please. Do not praise others and condemn the one where you come from. Let me. What are the people in Indiana you're talking about doing? What are those in the other areas doing? And tell us what is not happening in your place.
I can rate India at the moment. I am not from India, but from my research I've conducted at my PhD program, if I'm to rate the mayors, the parliamentarian of India is 90%.
For doing what?
For doing the micro project and
what have they? Yes, what have they done with the project?
Where
on the project?
We are all talking here of development. We are getting all their echoes and.
Have they rehabilitated roads? Have they built hospitals? Have they built schools? Those are the type of things I want to hear.
Yeah, of course, there are schools. You see the mayor of Ekondo Titi, the work that she's doing, the development that is put in Ekondo Titi, which is great. Then we see the Mr. Ambang, what is doing with the parliamentary or whatever the personal action that is taken from what he's taking as getting from lobbying, he's doing in
what do you reproach?
And Madam,
what do you reproach?
So at least they are going to. I'm just saying that if Indian people don't sleep in parliament, they can talk. Why should other parliamentarians not also talk? Why should
you are reproaching
on mayors. We are not on mayor because we're talking.
You have 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes, no more than that.
Yes, talk on mayor.
So, what are you not having in your place? You are reproaching one person in your place for something.
Well, I cannot give a 50%, but what I can give to my parliamentarian, he has a good vision, even though as far as my own village is concerned, he has not realized anything there, but the other area that he's doing work, at least I appreciate, because even the new CPDM building, he has renovated it, which is a good standard. And then the roads, I'm getting some road project that is conducting. So in that area, he's doing good. So, Mr. Kilan, just wait. So for my
we'll come back to you. You're going to conclude. We're going to. You will conclude. You will conclude. You will conclude. We have to take the microphone. We have to take the microphone round.
If others of Dian can do good, why should others not do good?
We'll get you.
Killian, let me come. I think you allow your guests to divert a lot from the question.
I agree.
Let me make my point,
I agree. I was waiting for them
to divert.
Yes.
Now, the point
Mr. Wunti has not yet diverted.
Let me come back. You will give him the mic. I'm already on
okay,
the mic.
You seized it from me.
Yes.
I will leave it with you. Don't blame me for wanting to seize it from you.
Take the mic,
go ahead. 2 minutes.
We cannot come on a barely 1 hour program and then we
that's also diverting. Give the point. You are also, instead of making your point, you are diverting.
I need to make the point.
You
cannot allow your guests to transform the program to be singing.
I can seize that microphone if you are not making your point.
The point I'm making is to answer your question.
Yes.
Let people not come here to be singing praises to their friends. The point is for community development impacts to be felt, being carried out by mayors and MPs. We need municipal authorities who can be, based in their municipalities. You cannot vote somebody and in 5 years the person is not even resident in the municipality. How do you identify with the people? For you to carry out development projects, you need to move to these various communities to identify their needs. So the point here is that mayors should make use of the different realities of their municipalities. There are communities that are rich in, they have mineral resources. There are others that are good in farming. There are others that are good in timber. There are others. Let us identify with the riches of our municipalities and carve out projects that we help to harness those who are carrying out. For the MPs must collaborate with the mayors. Okay. You are not based in the municipality. You must go down, relate what is happening at the national level to the municipal authorities, and then identify with the population, get their needs, and then you bring them to the table and lobby. Mayors, MPs so much. Who don't have the capacity to write projects, because now you need to write projects to
thank you so much, Bertrand.
Mayors who don't have, MPs who don't have the capacity should have people work with them. You should pay them. And we should not.
You see, I gave you the microphone. You cannot give it back to me.
2 minutes.
No, it's well about 2 minutes. Now the floor.
Let me jump in.
Members of government are financing projects.
You said something very important.
The microphone
you said
now.
Something very important.
Yeah. When you react to what he has said, these are the things that I would like you to address. Infrastructural development as what we expect from them, local engagement, also and things like road signs and the rest. So you react to what he said, and then you zero in on this.
He said a very key word, impact. What impact are people having at the local level? Because when you're voted, you're supposed to impact. I know we talk a lot about projects, and we're measuring all these projects. I would like to say this, before the crisis, there were projects, but those projects were not having local impact. We have moved now into an era where we have grassroots consultation in order to determine what happens in our communities. That is the impact that we have. Okay. At the regional assembly, we put in, through the vision of the regional president, the Peace Development Initiative, which brings people together to work in decentralized community projects that help to put the community back together after people had scattered. It's having a lot of effect because the community is coming back, and now we can have better view of what is going on, what the needs are. In that same respect, I think we have a focus on infrastructure projects right now, and we're looking at roads. One of the things which we need to put on the table in terms of geospatial development is the need, especially in our Anglophone areas, we don't have working airports. None of our airports in the Anglophone areas are working. We need that mode of transportation in order for development to come in. Now, in those areas where roads are being built, I will not list them here, what you see if you go into the health records, there's an increase in number of accidents. So the security aspect, the safety aspect of development needs to be incorporated in development efforts, because when the roads, I think the potholes act like speed brakes. When now the roads are fixed, everybody is running at 100 kilometers per hour, and we have more people in emergency rooms. Those are all issues that affect the people's quality of life, the amount of disposable income, because if now you have to pay for medicines and medical care, you have less income. Now, as we move forward, and we're talking about the mayors for the most part own the roads. The work between the mayors, the MPs, all elected officials, there needs to be synergy, and I'll hold my point there.
Thank you so much. Just an example. We were talking about an example here of a stretch of road from
Bauru, Bifang.
From
Bifang.
Give us.
Yeah, from Bifang, Bauru to Akwaya.
Yes.
Which was the contract was given to a parliamentarian, and from all indications shows that that work, more than half of the 90% of the amount for that road has already been consumed, whereas the road is yet to be completed, and we think it is not helping the population of that stretch of road, because it is a road that is actually going to bring in development from Akwaya, passing through Bauru, and a lot of things goods are going to come in from that area into our major cities.
Clearly, it's not an isolated situation.
Yes.
This is what happens in the national territory, where we award contracts to MPs who are rather supposed to be doing follow-up to see if projects are executed by contractors. And that is why we have so many abandoned projects. You cannot hold them accountable because the projects are awarded to them. We have MPs with letterheads of companies.
Yes, exactly, yes. Same line.
The same
no, I have this one. We are talking now of the community development, which is about the
look at our time is up.
2 minutes, yes.
No, not 2 minutes.
So I am trying to say that every community development has its own dynamics.
Yes.
Every community development has its own dynamics. And you cannot achieve a successful community development without using the indigenous people.
That is final. That's final. We don't have.
No,
we don't even
say that the traditional rulers, who are the indigenous of the people, who are the representative of the people, must first see that part and parcel of decentralization must be trained. We are seeing government training, organizing seminars for elected officials.
They should train
an elected
traditional
official who in 5 years
rulers.
Is going.
Our time is up.
Who is there permanent will work, mayor, you are not training him, and you do have to see about the development of the municipality. It doesn't go. So we are suggesting that traditional rulers
should be trained.
And president of the development committee created by the minister.
Yes. Thank you, Chief.
They should be trained to monitor decentralization process well, and they can be able to identify community projects which they are sent.
And thank you. It's over. Our time is up.
Committees are
yes, ladies and I want to thank you very much, gentlemen. You see, it's very difficult for me to stop this program. Very interesting, but we have to stop it now because Tam Tam Weekend is right ahead. And I just take this time to tell you that I will be away for 1 month annual leave, but don't you worry. Prince Will Mokwele Aduma will be here to take over. You know him. He's going to do a good job. Thanks very much. I want to wish you the best. Thank you for watching.